So Bubbles, waffle, 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 waffle. Mm. So yeah, interesting one. Interesting one. I think I just find it very sad that this is now how Harry has become. I mean, what a transformation from the the guy that we all kind of knew, albeit even if it was curated, from the royal family, and we were only kind of seeing what they wanted us to see. It doesn't matter. That's he still was the favorite, one of the favorite royals, literally below the Queen. Um, People loved him. He was this lovable rogue that was always partying and laughing, and you can't deny the relationship he had with his with Catherine. They were always laughing together. They were just such a great, whenever you kind of were out and about, it's like you saw them, the three of them together, and it was just such a wonderful sight to see because they were always laughing and joking with each other, and they were so close. And I find it so deeply sad that it's gone from that to this. And even more sad, the fact that he's not even thinking of how this is going to affect his brother. This is his mother too. He's bringing all this stuff. It's his father. It's his mother-in-law. It's, I just, I really feel that whoever is advising Harry is really doing a terrible job of advising him that this is the best way to go. I really do. I really do. And I just think it's deeply sad because I think, you've not only got this Netflix docuseries or whatever that's going to come out about them, and there's going to be things in there. You've got The Crown, which is coming out, like I say in the last one, which is going, which people seem to think, their fan base seem to think it's real. And then you've now got this book that's coming out, and this is all kind of coming up to the king and queen consort's coronation. And I just think it's so sad. This is something that should be a really brilliant time for the UK. We're all going to come together. It's going to be partying. It's going to be amazing, and we need that right now. And as much as I understand that people are kind of like, oh, it's the royal family, it's like, we don't, it's all about the money and stuff like that, and people are struggling. But you could say that about anyone that's rich across the globe. People act as if the British royal family are the only opulent family on the planet. There are so many royal families across Europe that have a similar, that live in opulence. Rich people that just do films, let's be honest, live in opulence. No offense, but look at the Kardashians. I mean, look at the wealth that they have, that's come from pretty much nothing. And I'm not saying that they haven't. Maybe, I mean, Kim is, whether you like her or don't like her, she's a businesswoman, and she's certainly done things, and she's got her businesses and things like that. But she's only got those because she's had the money to be able to do that. If we all have that kind of money, then I'm sure that we would all have businesses and be able to have clothing lines or perfume lines or whatever it is. So let's not, they might have worked hard from that fact, but she was famous from a sex tape, and she was married to Kanye West. So it is what it is. But it frustrates me when these people act as if, because it's the British royal family, that, we don't care about them. They give a lot back. Whereas, okay, what do the Kardashians do? What do, okay, you get film stars that maybe that earn their money from doing their films. Fair enough. But you even look at the opulence that footballers have. And anything else, it's all relative. And the monarchy is the same type of thing, because can you imagine right now we would have a president, well, we would have had a President Liz, or a President Boris Johnson, and now we've got this new guy in, which, no thanks. So at least with the monarchy, you just have this, and it's steeped in tradition, it's history. I don't really understand how people just seem to not want to do their research of how much, when people, the amount of tourism that Buckingham Palace brings, when it's the changing of the guard, would people come as many people come to London if you didn't have that? Probably not. So I think, it does frustrate me a little bit when people behave the way they behave. And I just think that, it feels like these two, Harry and Meghan, just seem to be hell-bent on bringing it down, which they want to be involved in it when it suits them, like coming to the Jubilee and things like, and turning up for the funeral, and they want to utilize the titles and the money. Oh, that's all good. But because we're not included in other things, it's like, no, we don't want it. We don't want it. So, you know, and we're going to trash it. If we don't, it's almost like very much kind of, if we don't get our own way, we're going to do whatever it takes to damage you. And that I just think is awful. But I also ironically blame the media as well, because they enable them. You know, for all Harry's moaning and complaining about the media, he's sure happy to use them when it suits him. She's happy to use the media when she gets her interviews. Oh, she's happy to utilize that because it's what they want. It's the positive narrative. They don't want the negative stories about them, the stories that could potentially be true. That's why they want to censor everybody and silence everybody. So, you know, I just, yeah, it does frustrate me a huge amount. Now, I hope that you were okay with the little advert that I did. I appreciate that this is a new thing for me. And I knew it was a little bit of a risk by doing it, because it's not something that I do on this channel. But I hope you trust me enough to know that I would not promote something and get you guys to potentially consider buying something that I don't stand by. Like if I was to promote a product, I would try that product myself. If I didn't think it was any good, I would be honest and say, no, it didn't work for me. And that's why I will always bring you the honest review. Now, that's just because something does work for me, then it also doesn't mean that it will work for you, because everyone is different. So again, you have to decide whether that's something that, just because I promote it doesn't mean to say you can then go, oh, well, it must work for me too, because it might not. So, you know, do your research, look into the company and see what you think. You get a big chunk of a discount when you do this. So at least if you try it, you know that you're not going to be spending a huge amount of money. And it's actually, I think, around the cost of a cup of coffee to me. So even if you were thinking of buying me a cup of coffee, don't, and you want to go and do that, go do that instead. If you're choosing between the two, say, for example, do that for yourself instead. You know, try it out, see what you think. And there's lots to choose from. So you don't literally have to go from a psychic medium. You could do, if you want to do a tarot reading, or you wanted to do astrology or numerology, you know, you can pick and choose. There's plenty to choose from. So, yeah, so I hope that you guys are okay with that. Oh yes, my positive thinking for today is, let's go with this one. Okay, wake up, smile, and tell yourself today is my day. Yeah. So how many of you sometimes have woken up, it's like this saying where you've woken up on the wrong side of the bed, and it feels like, or you wake up and you stub your toe, and then something else goes wrong, and something else goes wrong. Well, a lot of that is also aligned with this in a way that the negative, like when you set yourself up in a negative way, then sometimes then things that you might potentially ignore, you will then not ignore and see that as negative. So I think when you get out of bed in the morning, if you feel yourself kind of going into that negative mindset, really try and change that. And it's a wonderful thing that a friend of mine who's passed now used to say to me, give it a quarter turn. And I do say this sometimes to my clients, give it a quarter turn. So if you find yourself feeling negative, just say in your mind, give it a quarter turn and find something positive, because there will be something positive. And like I said to you, you know, when this is done, I will be doing a I'm grateful jar. So, and I think you can do that throughout the year. Like I used to do it. And then on New Year's Eve, we would go through the jar and all the things in the year that we've been grateful for, because it's amazing how you would forget things. I mean, you can even be grateful for like for the fact that, you know, I'm getting serious insomnia at the moment with having the menopause. So even if I have a good night's sleep, I will be grateful for the fact that, you know what, I actually had a really good night's sleep last night. I'm grateful for that. Sometimes it can be something small, or it can be something like, you know what, I'm grateful for the fact that my car worked today and it made me, and I was able to get to that appointment, or I'm grateful for my family, or I'm grateful for my pets, or whatever it is. Grateful for the fact that I still am able to have my health and walk around and do things. You know, there's always something that we can be grateful for. And I think sometimes to have, it can be very easy to slip into that a negative mindset. But I think, and I'm not saying that you don't have to be negative, because I think sometimes when we feel down, it's also important to acknowledge that, you know, I'm feeling a bit low today. But I think when, you know, rather than staying and indulging in it, where it goes like 2, 3, 4, a week, a month, you know, you're trying to pull yourself out of it. So acknowledge if you're feeling low. What am I feeling low for? What's going on for me today? You know, is this something that I really need to look at, or is this just because I'm just having a bit of a crap time? Am I tired? Am I hungry? Is there something else going on? You know, you can really look at aspects of yourself, and if it's just a low moment, then you can kind of utilize the gratitude or something like that to kind of go, you know what, actually I'm feeling low, but I am grateful for whatever it is. And like I say, you can have, I mean, this jar, it's like as a little jar, so you could do that, but you can get yourself a mason jar. If you've got your family, you know, you can put that in there as well. And I have spoken about this before, but I think it's a really good, wonderful thing also to get your kids involved in. So at the end of every day, you can say to your kids, or even if it's once a week, you can say to your kids, you know, what are you grateful for this week? And have your kids write it down and put it in your family gratitude jar. And then come New Year's Eve, you can all sit round as a family and go through and read out all those things that you've been grateful for, because sometimes you forget, which is why when I work with clients, I also do the journal, because it's amazing how you can forget the little things. Sometimes when we're going through something, we just get so caught up in that we forget some of the things that we've achieved, or some of the goals that we've managed to overcome, or whatever it is. And so that's why the gratitude jar is a really good way to kind of look back over your year and go, wow, I'd forgotten that I'd done that, or that was a really big thing, and I didn't realize at the time that how big that was, but it was really big. And it's just I think it's just a really healthy outlook on life. It's not to say that, like I say, you don't acknowledge some of the negative things that can happen. They are also important, because you have to learn and grow and heal from those. But if you find yourself kind of slipping into that and you're indulging just a little bit too much in that negative place, then using the gratitude jar can really start to bring you kind of out of that headspace. So what else? Is there anything else I think I have? Well, that's noisy. I don't think so. I think this is wrapping this up for this week. Next week, not really sure what I'm going to be talking about next week, actually, unless something happens over the weekend that the Dastardly Duo do, or there's something else. And if there's something that you would like me to talk about, please put that in the comments. I know that sometimes you do, and then I'm like, yeah, I will do that, and then I forget. So I'm really sorry. I'm human. I forget. But give me a reminder if there's things that you would like me to talk about next week, because I'm of the mindset now that I'm really not, I'm past caring now of whether I get views on these things or not. I'm just going to do them anyway, and hopefully at some point it will change. If it doesn't, well, then it doesn't. But yeah, so let me know. And if I decide to do a live, I will drop something in the community page and let you all know that I'm going to be at a certain time, going to be appearing live. So yeah, so have a great weekend. I've got my family down. I am excited to spend some time. I've got very much into playing Rummy Cub with my mum and dad, which is good fun. I've now become that person. we either play cards, we play Rummy Cub, yeah, I don't seem to win it very much, but I enjoy playing it anyway. So have a great weekend, whatever you are doing. Stay safe, stay amazing, and I will see you all next week. So I love you, I appreciate you, but most of all, I respect you. Mwah. Love you. Bye.